Okay, I'm trying this out. I know I didn't tell anyone I was going to do this, but this is just like a test almost. I am going to maybe get off that screen so you don't have to see all my information there. I am going to get the Canada Reads 2025 shortlist. It is now available. While I brush my cat because he's addicted to being brushed. Yes. There we go. I'm very excited. After this, I'm going to go out and buy the books. So yeah, if they have them at the bookstore. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I'm also going to preface this by saying that I am not like one of those booktubers who's like up to date on like current publications and like all that kind of stuff. I just read whatever I want to read. So like I don't know anything about these books, and it'll be interesting going into sorry, I'm getting distracted by my cat. It'll be interesting to go in and see what these books are, and I don't immediately recognize any of the contenders right here, but I think I'm just gonna go. You're gonna get like a weird look right now, my screen, but I'm gonna go and like move my webcam over to this area. I think I can do that. There we go. Hopefully that worked, because it looks like all the information will be on this side of the screen. Okay. This year, the Great Canadian Book Debate is looking for one book to change the narrative. The books on this year's show will all have the power to change how we see, share, and experience the world around us. I'm not going to read this part because it's going to go into bigger detail further down here. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not going to read the article. You can read the article if you want. Ali Hassan is hosting again. That's cool. Now let's go. And look at this. Olympic gold medal swimmer Megan McNeil champions Watch Out for Her by Samantha M. Bailey. Okay. This seems like it's a thriller about motherhood and surveillance. It's not. Immediately my reaction is like, I'm not a big fan of thrillers. Like, I'll read them, but they're like a one-time, one-off, kind of just read it for the plot kind of thing. So we'll see how this goes. Watch Out for Her is about a young mother named Sarah who thinks her problems are solved when she hires a young babysitter, Holly, for her 6-year-old son. Her son adores Holly, and Holly adores Sarah, who's like the mother she never had. But when Sarah sees something that she can't unsee, she uproots her family to start over. Her past follows her to this new life, raising paranoid questions of who is watching her now and what do they want. Okay. That's the author. She's a journalist. I wanted to look at what happens when we're hiding our true self, said Bailey in an interview. I think our children are innocent. How can you be totally innocent if you're human? Because if you're human, that means you're flawed. I also want to explore the idea that we can't watch who watches our children when we're not there. So you want to like instill fear. That's like that just kind of like I get it, you got to be careful, but like at the same time, like you're just instigating things with a statement like that. And hopefully it's not what I think it is. Maybe it's like, oh, like they're surveillance, like they're watching the kids through like nefarious, like through like a TV show or something like that. I don't know. Okay. That book is already giving me like I don't like it, kind of creeps. But I'm gonna try to be non-biased. I'm going to get it and I'm gonna read it. I really don't understand how a thriller is supposed to, I don't know, change the narrative, because I mean they're very like thrillers. I'm coming across as I have no filter. I'm tired. I don't care. Thrillers to me are just not it. Yeah, they're very dependent upon tropes, so I don't see how they're going to change the narrative. Podcast and wellness advocate Shayla Stonechild champions a two-spirit journey by Maini Chakabi with Mary Louisa Plummer. I do think it's interesting. I can't say it's a problem, but I do have an issue with nonfiction going up against fiction, because like it feels like you're criticizing like a person's lived experiences, as opposed to like fake characters whose like feelings and experiences can't be hurt. So I don't, but it's not, I don't know what I'm saying. It's interesting. I do wish it was like just fiction or maybe just non-fiction. It feels like it could be very hurtful to someone to have their book like be their life. It's not their book, it's their life being criticized. That's the problem I have with like memoirs and stuff being put onto Canada Reads in this kind of style. So in A Two-Spirit Journey, not that I have a problem with the book. Like, I think the books are very important. The books that I have, or the memoirs that I have read that have been on Canada Reads, have been very good, and I think everyone should read them. But in a competition style thing, it gives me a bit of the ick. Yeah. I haven't said anything positive yet about Canada Reads. Let's hope that the two books that I was hoping for are on there. In A Two-Spirit Journey, Minnie Chakaby, an Ojibwe Cree lesbian who grew up in a remote northern Ontario community, tells the story of how she overcame experiences with abuse and alcohol addiction to become a counselor and lead Thunder Bay's first gay pride parade. Minnie Chakaby is a Two-Spirit Ojibwe Cree writer, artist, storyteller, and activist. She lives in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and was raised by her grandmother. Okay. I want to leave something for my kids, my great-granddaughter, my great-grandson, said Chakaby. I want them to know what I was about, what I was made of, what I stood for, because there's so much violence in the communities up north around her. I wish more Native women and older women, even the ones that are older than me, could write their story about their life to share it with other people so their kids can grow to understand them and learn from them. We are storytellers, that is our gift, and if they share their real stuff, what really happened in the past, the kids will learn from it. I think especially now in our current political climate, and I am going to get political because reading is political, especially if you're reading books like this, where we have leaders like Pierre Poilievre saying that there's nothing to be ashamed of in Canada's history. There is a lot to be ashamed of. Like, read just one of these memoirs and tell me that you are not ashamed of parts of Canada's history. Like, dude, like, I am proud to be Canadian, but part of that is also like knowing that we can do a whole lot better. Right? Like, being prideful of your country, being proud of your country, does not mean that we think our country is perfect. Right? There's a lot that Canada can do to improve. And we need to keep on that mindset instead of denying these things and thinking that being proud of something means that it's perfect. You know? Okay. So Sheila Stonechild herself is a Red River Métis, and Nihia Iskwu, a Plains Cree woman from Muscowpetang First Nations. She founded the Matriarch Movement, an online platform, podcast, and nonprofit that amplifies Indigenous voices and provides wellness opportunities. Okay. Heartland actor Michelle Morgan champions Etta and Otto and Russell and James by Emma Hooper. This book did seem interesting to me too. It's not typically something that I'd read, but it is something that if I was asked to read it, I wouldn't pit up a fight. In the novel Etta and Otto and Russell and James, 82-year-old Etta decides to walk 3,232 kilometers to Halifax from her farm in Saskatchewan with little more than a rusty rifle and a talking coyote named James for company. Her early life with her husband Otto and their friend Russell are revealed in flashbacks to the Great Depression and Second World War. So Emma Hooper is the author. She's a musician. I haven't heard of any of their songs. She holds a PhD in music literary studies. Oh, so from that I'm expecting her writing to be really lyrical. Yeah. Michelle Morgan. I have heard of Heartland. I haven't watched it. Okay. Advocate for women's rights and women's shelters across Canada. Okay. See, I didn't recognize this guy, but I recognize the name Linwood Barclay. Here we have. See, this is another autobiography. You know, just pitting people's lives up against fiction. I don't know what doesn't seem fair. But anyways, Jenny's Boy by Wayne Johnston. Jenny's Boy is a memoir that recounts a 6-month period in Wayne Johnston's chaotic child. I don't know who Wayne Johnston is. Like, the autobiographies of some people, it's just like, why would you think... Not that, like... I'm not criticizing it, but I do wonder, like, why people think people would be interested in their lives. It's interesting. Jenny's Boy is a memoir that recounts a 6-month period in Wayne Johnston's chaotic childhood, much of which was spent as a frail and sickly boy with a fiercely protective mother. While too sick to attend school, he spent his time with his funny, eccentric grandmother Lucy and picked up some important life lessons along the way. So Wayne Johnston is a writer born and raised in Gold's, Newfoundland. His novel includes he's an author. The Colony of Unrequited Dreams? That one sounds familiar. It was a Canada Reads finalist in 2003. That's probably why it sounds... Oh, it was championed by Justin Trudeau. Okay. I looked at all the years that I could remember and tried to pick out which one was most representative of what life was like, not just for me, but for my family of 3 brothers and my mom and dad. My mom, most people called Jenny. It was kind of the funniest year in a lot of ways, a bit sad in some other ways, and even though the book is called Jenny's Boy, I kind of struggled with the notion of calling it Lucy's Boy. That was my grandmother, I was her pet, and that's why I talked about it. Okay, so it's going to be funny. It won a Stephen Leacock medal. Stephen Leacock, if you don't know, go out and read Sunshine Sketches of a Little Town, I think is the name. He is, like, Canada's humor writer. He's very well known. Yeah, so it's interesting. We're going to have this crime writer talk about this crime fiction writer, fictional crime writer, I don't know how to phrase that, but I think you get what I mean, talking about a book, talking about a humorous nonfiction book. Pastry chef. Oh, cool. I like chefs. I don't recognize him though. Saeed Madahoma champions Dandelion by Jamie Chai-Yun Liu. This was another book that sounded interesting. So Dandelion is a novel about family secrets, migration, isolation, motherhood, and mental illness. When Lily was a child, her mother, Sui Hua, walked away from the family and was never heard from again. After becoming a new mother herself, Lily is obsessed with discovering what happened to Sui Hua. She recalls growing up in British Columbia mining town where there were only a handful of Asian families and how Sui Hua longed to return to Brunei. Eventually, a clue leads Lily to South Asia to find out the truth about her mother. So the author is a lawyer, a law professor and podcaster. It's her first novel. I want to explore themes of belonging and place from an emotional place. I wrote about it academically in terms of how the law creates foreigners, but I want to explore how that feels, what that does to the psyche, how that affects someone's mental health. There are a lot of assumptions about why people are stateless, and the first one is that they are foreigners or migrants. And some stateless people are, but a lot of stateless people, millions around the world, are living within their home countries, and overwhelmingly people told me I'm being treated like a foreigner in my own country. This is another relevant book politically. I hope... I don't know. I think it's going to get political. How can you not, with the current political climate, talking about immigrants? Like, I just read an article earlier about how 75% of migrant workers didn't show up to their jobs in Bakersfield, California, because they're afraid of getting deported by ICE. And then, like, how that's going to affect the grocery prices that all the Trumpers think are going to start going down, but are obviously not, if they have any logical sense, that if you pitting the people that we are paying cents on the hour to do this work, and if you're deporting them, then you're going to have to start paying minimum wage, which is going to jack up the price of groceries for you guys. But, you know, who am I to say that, right? So who is Saeed Madahoma, known on social media as the Pastry Nerd, is a French Comoronian Canadian pastry chef based in Calgary. I just read a book by a Comoronian author. I'm sorry for the yelling in the background. But I want to get through this. Madahoma was born in Paris, where he completed his PhD in neuroscience. Oh, cool. So he's like a smart guy. Cool. So that's it. That is the Why is that not working? Oh, because I got Numlock on. So this is our group. I'm gonna go buy the books. I'm also gonna buy. Let me just look up Canada Reads 2025 long list. This is the book that I was most interested in. So we're gonna go to the long list here. The one I was most interested in was The Other Valley by Scott Alexander Howard. I think if I just click it here, might take me right to the. So this is like about time travel, but it's like geographically based. So if you travel like to the west, it's 20 years behind, and to the east, it's 20 years in the future. So it's really cool. It just sounds really cool. I'm gonna end because stuff is going on here, but thank you for watching. And